So there are really only 7 areas that actually matter when we're trying to build a happy and fulfilling life. A lot of people practice the phenomenon of majoring in minor things, which basically means that you spend all your energy on things that really ultimately don't matter and aren't really going to make you happy in the long term. That can be, for example, if you spend all your time worrying about an Instagram post and how many likes you're going to get. Well, that might be great that you might get a few extra likes or an extra few follows, but ultimately it doesn't really matter and it's not going to contribute to your ultimate fulfillment. That's why Naval Ravikant is a great person to listen to on this subject. And he says, he has a saying, it goes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And that basically means that if you get involved and put your energy into things that ultimately don't matter, yeah, you'll get those few extra likes or follows, which might be great, but ultimately doesn't contribute to the bigger purpose, which is building a fulfilling life. So let's have a look at what these 7 areas are that we should invest our energy in, and that ultimately, if we grow and build them, will lead to us having a fulfilling life. They do come in an order of priority, and I will explain why the priority matters. But just to kick off, I'll go through each one in turn and explain briefly as to why they're important. So the first and most important is our physical body. And now that depends on what your particular body is capable of, but I think we'd all agree that if we're getting the most out of what we have, that is the best vehicle to go on and achieve success. And it's also the thing that gives us energy. Energy is the most important thing when you're trying to push through and thrive to better your life. So body is the most important. The second is emotions and meaning. Now, this is because it's important to have control of your emotions, to able to be happy when you have happy times and to be able to feel that joy, but also not get overly angry and completely thrown off course just by some small setbacks that may occur. And of course, lots of people have very stressful and difficult lives. And I think we can all agree that everybody experiences stress on some level, and some people have horrific situations and really difficult things that happen to them. But we also see lots of stories of people who've had the worst upbringing and the worst things happen to them, and they have managed their emotions and not let it get on top of them so that they can go on to achieve ultimately what has sometimes been greater than any other human being has done in that particular respect. Third is relationships, which doesn't really need much explanation. The better your relationships with your family, your friends, and the people around you and your loved ones and partners, the better and richer your life will feel. Number 4 is time. It's very easy to be overwhelmed by feeling like you have too much to do or not enough time to enjoy the things you want to do, and having good control of that is a massive contributor to your fulfillment and your happiness generally in life. Number 5 is work and career, which is clearly important as you need something to do with your life to make something of it. Then we have finances. That's important because without enough money, you won't be able to afford certain things. And although money isn't the individual cause of happiness, it does take care of a lot of problems that mean that you don't have to worry about it and you can afford certain things so that you're not held back by it at a certain point. Finally, number 7 at the top of the pyramid is celebration and contribution. It's often said that life is not what you get, but what you give. And also the ability to show gratitude and appreciate and celebrate all the things that you have in your life is a massive contributor to your happiness. So you probably don't need me to convince you that all 7 of these areas are important to have a fulfilling life. And you probably don't need me to explain why these are so. But there is a reason why they are in a hierarchy. Now, you can always work on these different aspects at the same time, and you don't have to reach one level before moving on to the next. But some things do make it easier for one to contribute to the other. Let's say, for example, that you succeed in the area of finance. Well, you might have a lot of money, but if your area of time is quite deficient and you never have time to enjoy that money, then it's really not as effective as if you had first controlled your time and then got the money to do all the things you wanted to do. A second example would be, let's say, if you had a good relationship, but you had no control over your emotions. So say if any time the smallest thing gets to upsetting you and you have a fit of rage and you get out of control and maybe shout at your partner, that will ruin the relationship a lot more than if you had control of your emotions. You would be able to remain calm when stressful situations occur, and it wouldn't impact your relationship in that way. And as I say, you can work on all these areas and you don't necessarily have to do them in a particular order, but there are ways in which one feeds into the other more if you do it in a certain way. That brings me on to the main thing that I want to teach you today, which is something I came across a few years ago called the Wheel of Life. And this is where we take all of these 7 areas and simply just map it out on a diagram on a wheel, which I'll show you now on screen. And it essentially will illustrate to you what areas of your life are going well and what areas need particular focus. So I'll show you the one that I did back when I discovered it in April 2019, and I'll show you exactly how I did it. So the first thing that you do is you take the pyramid and score yourself out of 10 for each of these 7 sections. So go through each of these: your physical body, your emotions and the meaning of your life, relationships, time, your work and career, your finances, and your ability to celebrate and contribute, and give them each a score out of 10 as to how they are now compared to how you would like them ultimately to be for you to have a fulfilling and happy life. And then what you do is you take something called the Wheel of Life, which I'll show you on the screen now, and you essentially sketch out the scores that you've given yourself on the wheel. And that will give you an illustration of exactly where you're at in how you rate your life compared to where you'd like it to be. And the great thing about this is it will illustrate the areas of weakness and areas that you have potential for growth. And what I would recommend is, once you've identified it and you've laid it out on paper and you kind of have a real cold truth of where you're at, try and then think of a couple that you can focus on to improve. So just pick 2 areas, think of where they relate in the pyramid and how improving one might actually improve all the other areas of your life. For example, let's say if your physical body, you're not very happy with your physical body, and you feel like that if you ate better or you exercised a bit more, you might have more energy. Well, you can see how why that's at the bottom of the pyramid, because if you had that energy, that will impact all the other areas of your life. So if that's one that's low, maybe consider that one. But any area that you're particularly not satisfied with, if you pick 2 of them and just focus on improving those for the next 6 months, it will show improvement in all areas of your life. And it's interesting to look at this, because when I discovered this back in April 2019, I obviously did the scores on myself. And the areas that I found that I was strongest on was my physical body, which isn't a surprise because at that time I was doing a lot of exercise and going to the gym and felt really good. But the areas that I was weaker on were my time management. At the time I was doing my dental degree, as well as that was a full-time degree, so it was Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And then I still had a mortgage to pay and a life to live in London, and had to find ways to earn money outside of that. So I essentially worked 2 full-time jobs. So my time was a 5 back then, and understandably, because I was spending all my time either studying or working. And then also work and career, because I felt a bit like I wasn't really progressing with my career and my ability to enjoy it. So with celebration and contribution, I wasn't really giving anything. So I actually remember at the time, I decided to focus on my time and also my ability to celebrate and contribute. And it's really funny because now I almost forgot about this. I decided back then to focus on them. But now I have, in the last not even 2 years, set up a life where I've actually made sure that I have lots and lots of free time to enjoy myself, to see my friends, to do things that actually are pleasurable and make me happy. So it's really interesting to see when I've scored that again today, that I just by focusing on it and kind of like even telling you subconscious that it's something that you need to be aware of, that I've shown improvement on that. And then the second one is celebration and contribution. So back then I really didn't help other people much. I didn't realize how much it is, as cliche as it might sound, it does really help to take care of those people around you. And during lockdown, my mom wasn't able to work because of COVID. Her business got shut down, and so I started helping her pay for her rent. And also similar story with my girlfriend, that she was struggling to pay the rent. So I said that I would take care of those 2 elements for those people. And I also started giving to charity, and it's just quite nice when you redo this assessment every year or two, and you compare where you are now to where you were, and it shows that you have massive improvement, and it does help you and it makes you feel fulfilled. So definitely a really good tool to check out. So I recommend that you just have a go at this. Start with the pyramid and go through everything, score yourself out of 10, and then I will give you a link in the description to where you can download a copy and print out the Wheel of Life for yourself. Have a go at sketching it out. Identify that, well, firstly celebrate the areas that you are doing well in, and then identify some of the areas where you think you would have some growth and there's potential to grow there. And for the next 6 months, just focus on making those better, and you will see how not only it impacts the rest of your life, but it makes you feel more happy and fulfilled. So thank you for watching. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos like this on motivation, happiness, fulfillment, and because over the years, everybody in life kind of has struggles and finds ways to overcome them. And I think that when I was in my mid-20s, I really struggled with a lot of these things and searched hard and read lots of books, went to lots of seminars, looked at lots of things that have really helped me develop a really strong mind and a really happy and fulfilled life now. And I feel like it's only fair, especially in times like this when COVID is rife and people are really struggling, to offer some of that wisdom and share some of the things that have really worked for me. So I'll be releasing a lot of videos like this in the coming months and the rest of this year. My aim is to release 150 videos for 2021 that are all going to help you build a better life and help you be happier and more fulfilled. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on any of those, please subscribe and check out and hit notifications and check out some of my other videos, because there'll be lots of these out at the moment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.